Hare Krishna. So, it's getting toward evening. It's been a full day. So now it's time to refresh consciousness, focus on hearing messages of Godhead. And continue reading from the Advaita Prakasha by a disciple of Shri Advaita, whose name was Ishana Nagara. And Lord Advaita is an incarnation of a combined form of Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva. And he's appearing to enhance the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in his appearance 500 years ago. And Lord Chaitanya, the Godhead, manifested in 5 different features. One of those features is Lord Advaita. So this is his disciple is recounting these pastimes. There's not a whole lot of philosophical discussion. This devotee is describing the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead in his feature as Lord Advaita. So by hearing these pastimes, this is what's going on in the pure spiritual atmosphere. These are the kinds of relationships, the kinds of activities that are going on off the material bodily identification and into the spiritual, eternal atmosphere, the transcendental world, eternal world. No birth, no death, no old age, no disease, no runny noses, no fevers, no chickenpox, no bankruptcies, no death, no disease, no material body, no material attraction at all to the material energy. Not even on the subtle platform, not even contemplating, wouldn't it be nice if... No, not even that. No attraction whatsoever to the material energy. None. So, if there's no attraction to the material energy, there's no need for a material mind or body. And so their activities take place on the transcendental platform, the spiritual platform. So by hearing from those that are realized in Krishna consciousness, then we can begin to reawaken our own spiritual consciousness, our own spiritual nature, and start to revive our consciousness of Krishna and begin to cultivate a loving relationship with the Lord, the spiritual platform. And whatever one thinks at the time of death, that state that person attains without fail. So no time to waste, because we don't know when we're going to die. Nobody knows. You don't have to be very old or very sick to be forced out of this body. Anything can happen at any time. So there's no time like the present to start hearing these messages of Godhead. So this is Advaita Prakasha by Ishana Nagara. This incarnation of the Lord appeared 500 years ago in India. Ma Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskitadi Satarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. So this is chapter 5. All glories to Sri Chaitanya, all glories to Siddhanath, and all glories to Nityananda, along with all the devotees. One day, the best of the sannyasis, Sri Madhavinda Puri, appeared in Shantipur as the moon appears in the sky. The name of Krishna always adorned his lips, and his body was filled with the topmost ecstasy of love of God. He was the incarnation of a desire tree of Raj. He was most renounced, for he had no external dependence. Still, out of affection, he came to Advaita Prabhu's residence. Advaita Prabhu was filled with ecstasy on seeing Madhavendra Puri. Putting a cloth around his neck as a sign of humility, Advaita offered dandavats by falling on the ground like a rod before Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri embraced Advaita and inquired about his well-being. And Advaita Prabhu said, Madan Gopal has bestowed his mercy on me. Madhavendra Puri said, devotional service is full of transcendental potency by which the living entity can attain the Lord's supreme abode. Madhavendra Puri was overwhelmed in ecstasy. Sometimes he laughed, sometimes he cried, sometimes he danced. Who can understand the position of Madhavendra Puri? After some time he regained his external senses and revealed an easy way to attain Krishna. He said, Dear Advaita, you have pure love of Godhead. Now, make a painting of Shri Radhika, for by seeing Radha and Krishna, one develops the loving sentiments of the gopis. Therefore, the worship of both Radha and Krishna is the topmost process. Please hear attentively one other thing I have to say. You should get married and lead a Krishna-conscious life. By Krishna's grace, you will father many sons who will distribute the holy names and thus deliver the living entities. Advaita Prabhu said, Deity worship is very auspicious, but if someone commits an offense, his family goes to hell. Madhavendra Puri said, Krishna is an ocean of mercy and is controlled by you. He will not consider any offense from the next 14 generations of your family. Following his guru's instruction, Advaita Prabhu joyfully prepared a painting of Shri Radhika. By seeing those two paintings, one easily develops love for Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Madhavendra Puri then delightedly bathed Radha Madan Gopal. He offered the Lord various kinds of sweets, water for washing the mouth, camphor and betel nut. Everyone who came to see the divine couple offered obeisances and various prayers. Being attracted by the transcendental aroma of the Mahaprasad, they honored Krishna's remnants with love and devotion. Then, to teach the process of Krishna consciousness, Advaita accepted the topmost Krishna mantra from Madhavendra Puri. After some days, Madhavendra Puri expressed a desire to leave, but Advaita Prabhu earnestly begged him to stay. Madhavendra Puri said, I want to go to Jagannath Puri. Gopal has ordered me to collect sandalwood. Advaita Prabhu said, Why has Gopal asked for sandalwood? I'm eager to hear the reason. Madhavendra Puri said, Gopal is the completely independent Supreme Lord. He's appeared of compassion on this fallen soul. Recently, Shri Gopal told me in a dream, I'm feeling warm. Bring some Malai and sandalwood from Jagannath Puri. If I am smeared with that fragrant sandalwood, my body will cool down. Who can violate Gopal's firm order? Therefore I came this side to look for sandalwood. I've come now to your abode of peace here in Shantipur due to being attracted by the strong desire of your shining sun-like devotion to Lord Krishna. Hearing from Madhavendra Puri about the extent of Krishna's mercy, Advaitacharya loudly cried out in ecstatic love. He said, Krishna Chandra is most merciful. He is the reservoir of supreme potency and is always affectionate to his devotees. He always increases the transcendental qualities of his devotee. For the sake of his devotee, he appears without consideration of time. After speaking in this way, Advaita Prabhu became stunned. Madhavendra Puri helped Advaita recover and then asked to take leave. Advaita Prabhu offered obeisances to Madhavendra Puri, and Madhavendra Puri embraced Advaita. Then Madhavendra Puri went in great ecstasy to Ramuna, where Gopinath resides. He took darshan of Gopinath there, and then chanted and danced with raised arms. After some time, Sri Madhavendra Puri regained his external consciousness and offered obeisances to Gopinath. As he sat and chanted the holy name in the temple, one Brahmin came. Madhavendra Puri inquired from him, "O best of the Brahmins, please tell me which fortunate person has made this deity." The Brahmin said, "O saintly one, listen, and I will tell you what wise men have previously told me. Lord Ramachandra, the supreme Brahmin, dressed as a mendicant and went to live in the forest with his wife Sita to fulfill his father's promise. One day, Lord Ramachandra slightly smiled as he watched a herd of cows wander with their calves in the forest. Seeing him smile, Sita inquired the reason. Ram, however, replied, "It is not necessary for you to know." Sita said, "I fall at your lotus feet. Please tell me." Out of affection, the Supreme Lord is always controlled by his devotees. The Lord always bestows ecstatic love on his devotees. Sri Sita Devi is the pleasure potency of the Lord and the crest jewel of devotional service. Therefore, in order to please her, the jewel of Rag dynasty said, "Listen, Janaki, at the close of Dwapara Yuga, I will perform my pastimes as Krishna in the land of Raj. I will be known by the name Gopal, and I will engage in protecting cows in the association of other cowherd boys and girls." Sri Janaki said, "O Lord, you are full of mercy. Please show me that form." Supreme Lord and Master of the universe then personally prepared this deity of Krishna with a precious stone. Seeing that deity of Krishna, Sita was astounded and said, "I have never seen such a sweet form. This form of Krishna is the reservoir of transcendental mellows, and he attracts the minds of all. The beauty of this transcendental form is more attractive than a newly formed rain cloud." The chaste Sita Devi then devotedly worshipped the deity with various fruits and flowers. The deity is now famous by the name Gopinath. Whoever sees this deity obtains pure devotion to Lord Krishna. This is a brief description of the deity's history. By hearing this narration, all one's desires are fulfilled. After Madhavendra Puri heard the wonderful pastimes of Gopinath, he worshipped the deity with love and devotion. Again and again he pleaded, "O Gopinath, please be merciful to me." Everyone present was amazed to see his devotional sentiments. After seeing the arti, Madhavendra Puri left the temple. He went, sat under a tree, and chanted japa. Later that night, the pujari came there with a pot of chira, condensed milk in his hand, calling, "Where is Madhavendra Puri?" Madhavendra Puri said, "I am that contemptible person." The Brahmin said, "The ocean of your good fortune is overflowing. Gopinath has stolen chira on your behalf. He ordered me in a dream to bring that chira to you." The Brahmin then gave the chira to Madhavendra Puri and returned home. Madhavendra Puri exclaimed, "Krishna has bestowed inconceivable, wonderful mercy on me." And then he lost external consciousness. After weeping profusely, he settled his mind and honored the chira prasad with great devotion. Again, after in the honored prasad, he was filled with ecstasy. He danced and raised his arms for a long time. I offer millions of obeisances at the feet of Sri Madhavendra Puri, by whose devotion Gopinath was named Shirachara. Madhavendra Puri then continued on until he arrived at Nilachala. When he saw Lord Jagannath, he danced jubilantly. He offered obeisances and many prayers to the Lord. Then he loudly chanted the holy names in great ecstasy. After resting there for a few days, Madhavendra Puri collected some high-quality sandalwood and then departed. When he again arrived in Ramuna, he offered his respects and prayers to Gopinath. That night in a dream, Sri Gopal said, "Listen, Madhavendra Puri, faithfully smear the aromatic sandalwood on Gopinath, and the heat of my body will diminish, have no doubt." After seeing the dream, Madhavendra Puri was overwhelmed with ecstatic love and said, "What an astounding order Gopinath has given! Who can understand the resolute will of the inconceivable Lord? Whatever he orders, I must accept." Madhavendra Puri thus offered all the sandalwood to Gopinath, and then rested there for some days. Sometimes he would devotedly visit Nilachala, and sometimes out of love he returned to see Gopinath and Ramuna. In this way, Madhavendra Puri often traveled back and forth, but in his last days he attained perfection at the lotus feet of Gopinath. The transcendental qualities of Madhavendra Puri are like an ocean. Shri Advaita Prabhu glorified those qualities. I am fallen and not able to touch even a drop of those qualities. Following the order of the Lord, I have simply given a hint. Praying at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Shri Advaita, always desiring their mercy, I, Ishana Nagara, narrate Shri Advaita Prakasha. Jai.